Hi guys, Bran here, and welcome to another commentary video. This one today is one that I've been seeing a lot in terms of Twitter, in terms of YouTube, in terms of just the DBD community in general. And it's one of those things that I just look at it, and it just makes me look at the entire community sideways, because it just kind of shows just like how upset the community is and how much they're just like kind of willing to like stretch or overanalyze anything to kind of like further a point. And it's the incentives. It's the blood point incentives. The blood point incentives were released recently, which encourages you to play whatever role happens to have less players or needs more players in your MMR and in your region. So the big deal with this, the thing that a lot of people are complaining about recently, is that the incentives seem a little skewed. For some reason, the DBD community is under the impression that if everything's perfect, it will always make an equilibrium, and there should be incentives swapping back and forth pretty frequently. And the fact that this is not the reality that they are met with makes them believe that the game is inherently flawed. Namely, when they're looking at the idea that the incentives most often tend to end up on Survivor. Now, I do get killer incentives a lot, which I think is very, very funny, because people say that that never happens. I do get killer incentives a lot. I don't know if it's my MMR, my region, whatever, but I do get killer incentives a lot. But people often say that they almost never get killer incentives ever at their MMR and at their region. So they are pretty upset that the incentives are mostly on Survivor, and a lot of Survivor mains as well like to kind of point this out as kind of a greater symptom of the game in the current game state, that Survivor simply isn't fun anymore. And that the fact that the incentives are seemingly always on Survivor means that the state of Survivor is the worst it's ever been. Nobody generally wants to play that role anymore, and people want to shy away from that as much as possible, and behavior needs to take a look at this, see that less people are playing Survivor, and use the incentives kind of as evidence that things need to improve. Now, I'm going to look you in the eye. Come here. Come here. Come here. This is an important one. Come here. Okay? Look at me. Which of these roles has more players? Which of these roles needs more players to function? Trick question. How many players do you need to fulfill a killer role? One. Just one person. How many people do you need to make a full team of survivors? Four. 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 So that means, just based on the fact that the game is a 4v1 and one team needs one player and the other team needs four, means that you quite literally need 4 times the players on one side than you do the other. And gee, if we were making some sort of incentive that was rewarding players for playing the role that needs more players in order to fulfill a team, it's almost like the side that ergo needs more players to fulfill a full team will probably more likely and more often have the incentives. It's just simple math. Isn't that crazy? The team that can be fulfilled by one person often doesn't have the incentives. The team that needs 4 whole players often needs it more. That's crazy. That's wild. It's just mind-blowing. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, I'm obviously being a little facetious here, but literally it's a 4v1. One side needs more players in order to, just inherently, in order to go. So if you're calling for more players, if you need more players, then yeah, the side that needs more players to function is probably going to have the incentives more often. The people that look into this and try to say it's like a greater symptom of the game and the game balance and all that stuff, it really is just reaching. It really is just reaching, because it really does boil down to just the simple math of like a 4v1 game formula. It's really not that deep, and it's been really shocking and kind of annoying to see how many people are just kind of like really trying to reach and make this more than it ever needs to be. It's kind of disappointing to see. So I don't know if people just don't know that, or they're just being ignorant, or they're just trying to push a narrative. I don't know what it is. I don't know why people make such a big deal out of this. I really don't, but I don't know. It is what it is. It's just one of those things that I look at and I'm like, come on. Come on, think about this a little harder, please. But yeah, what do you think about the reasoning that I gave as to why the incentives are mostly on Survivor? Let me know down in the comments below. Other than that, that's gonna be it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Other than that, that's gonna be it for today's video. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow. But if I don't, I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.